interested in how to make transparent the immediate relationship between those of us who are walking into that room, into that auditorium, with the experiences that we're having nationally, and this piece set over 100 years ago. Like, what is that dance? What is that dynamism? That's one thing. Another is the approach that I'm going to be taking is going to move away from the traditional approach to August Wilson's work, which has been grounded in fierce naturalism and realism. The reasons for that are many, but the root is my interest in the metaphysical aspects of his work, and in my own experience as a theater maker in the Black American avant-garde, which sort of dances between abstraction and kind of jazz play. And if you think about it like this, you can have a standard, like a standard American song, like a classic. I think of something like My Favorite Things, right? And we know what My Favorite Things sounds like. We have the traditional version, of course, that comes directly from the musical. And then we have the version that may be done by somebody like a Frank Sinatra or an Ella Fitzgerald. But then you have that song as interpreted by a jazz artist, everyone from, say, a John Coltrane, who opened up its rhythmic possibilities and its tonal variations, to someone like Betty Carter, who played ridiculously with tempo and with polyrhythm, to someone like Alice Coltrane, who took it all the way out into space. And if I think about August Wilson's work like a classic songbook, we know what that play looks like. We know what Gem of the Ocean looks like in its quote-unquote classic iteration, right? We know what those performances are, what the space and the set are. What my interest is to come in and bring my perspective as a player and the perspectives of the designers and the actors who are coming in with their own histories and consciousnesses to the mix, to see how we play it. It's not going to be the same old song. It's going to be a new interpretation, honoring his words, honoring the core story, but saying that the expression of it is going to be radically different because it needs to be at this moment in time. I work in a mode called the theatrical jazz aesthetic. It has a multi-year history. If you know, for example, the play for Color Girls Who've Considered Suicide, like there was called a choreo poem, right? And it was a mix of language, movement, and music that was very particular and expressed a different kind of theatrical presence. That was one of the roots of this way of working. So it operates alongside, in tandem with, the tradition of Black theater that's grounded in realism and naturalism. And as an artist, as a student, as a fan of August Wilson's work, I've always been aware that both things are true. You have that kind of, in a way, like a radical poetry, a blues and jazz tradition at work, but you also have the tradition of kind of mid-century American realism at work, right? And the production history of August Wilson's plays, per his intention, right, have been grounded primarily in that mid-century realism and naturalism. And I've always longed, and I know that a number of my contemporaries have longed, to see what would happen if we were to take the work and skew it more toward that jazz and blues tradition in terms not only of the sound of it, but the actual physical life of it in the world. So that's what we're going to do. We'll see what happens, you know, purists beware. But my hope is that it will be, rather than be something that would offend people who love the work as it has been performed or staged, that this will serve as an invitation to view the work through the lens of our current moment, and to view the work through the lens of maybe our need for a kind of elevated engagement with those difficult moments in history and culture that precede a radical transformation. because I think that's what's at the core of this play. And I'm hoping we can unleash some of that magic, that dust.